Hello everyone. So this video is going to talk about when governments get it wrong and their focus on LGBTQ plus lives under falsehoods. There are times in history when governments are tested not by war, not by disaster, but by whether they will stand for truth or bend to lies. And time again, when it comes to LGBTQ plus lives, governments have bent the wrong way. They have used misinformation as a weapon. They have turned difference into danger. They have painted love as threat and identity as disease. And when governments get it wrong, they do not only pass bad laws, they create generations of pain. False information is powerful because it feels real. When leaders speak it, when schools teach it, when media repeats it, people begin to live as though it were truth. And for queer communities, this has meant being painted as predators, as corruptors, as less than human. But governments rarely act alone. They often work hand in hand with fear, with religious fundamentalism, with cultural panic, with the human weakness that seeks easy scapegoats. It is easier to blame queer people for social problems than to confront poverty, inequality, or even corruption. So laws are passed, laws built on lies, and communities are left to suffer. So let us name the moments. Let us remember how governments have gotten it wrong. In the 1980s, during the AIDS epidemic, the US government delayed, denied, ignored. Officials called it a gay plague. They let thousands die without care, and stigma grew so strong that even today, the echo of those lies still hang in the air. In the United Kingdom, 1988, Section 28 was passed, a law that banned the promotion of homosexuality in schools. It was a law not to protect, but to erase. It told queer children that their existence was shameful. It silenced teachers who might have supported them. An entire generation grew up in silence, haunted by the absence of recognition. In Russia, 2013, the so-called gay propaganda law declared that speaking positively about LGBTQ plus lives was harmful to minors. What it truly did was give permission for violence. It turned pride parades into crimes. It told queer Russians that even hope was dangerous. And in Uganda, laws have been passed making queerness punishable by life in prison, and sometimes even death. This was not born from local culture alone. It was stoked by foreign religious groups exporting hate as though it were charity. Across the United States today, legislators push bans on gender-affirming health care, on drag performances, on inclusive education. They claim they are protecting children, but what they are truly protecting is fear. Fear of difference, fear of freedom, and fear of truth. When governments spread lies, hysteria follows, and hysteria has always been the enemy of reason. They tell us same-sex marriage will destroy society. It did not. In fact, it strengthened families. They tell us trans people in bathrooms are predators. They are not. Trans people are far more likely to be victims of violence. They tell us visibility is dangerous, that queer people are indoctrinating children. But visibility saves lives. It gives young people hope. It tells them they are not broken. The hysteria is always the same, but the target shifts. Once it was gay men during AIDS, then it was lesbians in classrooms, and now it's trans in healthcare. Governments recycle the same lie in new clothing, and every time, the cost is borne by the community. Laws built on lies are not just symbolic. They shape lives, they deny rights, they erase humanity. A queer teen afraid to come out because their government tells them that they are unnatural. A trans adult denied medical treatment because lawmakers claim their identity is delusion. A family unable to adopt because the state believes two mothers cannot raise a child. A teacher losing their job because acknowledging queer existence is treated as a crime. The human cost is not measured only in statistics, though suicide rates, homelessness rates, and violence rates tell a grim story. The cost is measured in silence, in closets, in the weight of lives half lived because governments choose to follow lies instead of truth. In some cultures, queerness is not new. It was once sacred. It was once honored. Many indigenous nations in North America recognize two-spirit people as healers, as bridge builders. In South Asia, Hijra communities existed for centuries, honored and feared, before colonial laws criminalized them. What we see now is not ancient tradition rejecting queerness. It is governments imposing imported fears, colonial laws, manufactured morality, and communities pay the price. But there is always resistance. Section 28 was repealed. AIDS activists forced governments to listen. Russia's queer activists still march. Ugandan queer voices refuse to be silenced. In the US, queer communities fight back in courts, in schools, and in the streets. Because lies cannot hold forever, hysteria burns itself out. Hate reveals itself hollow. What remains, always, is the resilience of LGBTQ plus people. We resist by existing, by loving openly, by refusing to disappear. We resist by telling our own stories, so no government falsehood can define us. So what do we do when government gets it wrong? We speak louder. We organize. We hold them accountable. We refuse to let fear dictate policy. We demand that leaders listen not to hysteria, but to truth, to science, to lived experience. And we remind them again and again that policies are not abstractions. They are lives, they are children, they are futures. When governments get it wrong, they leave scars. Scars in law, scars in memory, scars in the soul of people. But those scars also tell a story of survival, of resilience, and of courage. And in the end, the truth remains simple. Love is not a threat. Identity is not a crime. Queer people are not the monsters of their imagination. We are teachers, we are healers, we are parents, lovers, artists, leaders. We are human. Governments may legislate hate, but they cannot legislate us all out of existence, because love always outlives lies, and truth always finds its way home. Have a good day, everybody.